Our God is a God who is committed to us. So strong is his commitment to us, and so serious is he about his commitment to us, that he so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son. Amen. That whoever, no matter who you are, if you believe in him, you will not perish, but have everlasting life. Is that Demetrius? Yes. Hey, Demetrius, I'm glad you're here, Demetrius. Demetrius, the Lord said, burn the plow and cook the cow. Amen. I'm going to tell you what we're talking about. We're talking about being committed. Amen. That's what God is talking about, because there are people in here today who are so busy worrying about yesterday and what they lost yesterday that they can't grasp tomorrow. And let me be sure to tell you, as I drop this quick sermon on you, that you will never grasp your tomorrow holding on to yesterday. The Apostle Paul was a very powerful man of God. Before he was a very powerful man of God, he was a very intelligent Pharisee. And when he met Jesus on Damascus Road, he said this I do, Walter, forgetting those things which are behind me, John, and pressing forward to the things which are before. Do you understand? Do you understand that you will never grasp what's before you, holding on to what's behind? Amen. When you're living your life regretting what was behind you, what you left, you'll never be able to grab what God has before you. And if you do happen to grasp what is before you, your level of commitment will be low, because all the time in the back of your mind, you're thinking about what could have been, amen, what may have been, and what used to be. The Lord simply saying to us this morning, he needs a people who are willing to leave things behind, leave the past in the past. Yeah. Amen? And willing to step up and do, Keith, right, what needs to be done for tomorrow. Amen. Does that make sense? Does it make sense to you, Johnny, that you'll never grab hold of your business thinking about the job you retired from? Yes. This I do, Paul said, forgetting those things which are behind me, and I'm pressing forward to that which is before. Everybody has a past. Every single one of us in here has a past. Even my 5-month-old granddaughter has a past. Amen. I'm not talking about a past life. I'm talking about her past. Amen. Amen. When she was born and couldn't breathe, that's in her past. What she looked like being 35 years old, said, well, I would do it, but when I was born, I couldn't breathe. Foolish, isn't it? Foolish, isn't it? And what do you look like going to God saying, well, because of what I did, I know nobody in here, so I'm going to preach to this other church behind me. Bishop Gray did teach me not to turn my back to the crowd, but I'm going to turn my back so I can preach to this other church, and maybe you'll hear. If you had an abortion, God has forgiven you. Forgive yourself and move on. Is that enough? Is that enough? You said amen, but do you really believe it? It is people who want to hold on to the past. It is people who want to label you as what you used to be. And when we fall into that trap, and it is a trap, because again, you'll never grab hold of the future worrying about what you left in the past. How can you be a good husband to this wife? How can you be a good wife to this husband? Your husband's dead and gone, and can I say that? Can I say it? All right. I thought I may as well say, and rotted away. And you with this man, and all you're doing is comparing him to Stanley. That's not how Stanley used to do it. Stanley was all on top of business. Now I got to prompt you to get up. Well, baby, you should have went with Stanley. Pastor, did you say that? Oh, Pastor, you didn't say, yeah, because if you're going to keep holding on and be holding Larry responsible for not being Stanley, you're never going to make a good relationship with Larry. Leave those relationships where they are in the past and move forward. Yeah. Somebody needed to hear that. It may not have been you, but somebody in here needed to understand that. If we really believe that God's got something great in front of us, you won't reach that great stuff looking back at what you lost. Or what you think you lost, right? And always know that when God brings something before you and after you move, it's going to be greater, because God does not digress. There is no digression in God. There is progression in God that's moving forward. Amen. 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 So let's get to our text and we'll be done. It's as simple as that. In our text, we are introduced to Elisha. I know you know about him already, right? You know about him and his 14 miracles. But before he was doing 14 miracles, he was at home, Jessica, a wealthy man. How do you know he was wealthy? Because he had a field to plow. And he had 12 teams of oxen, right? That's 24 oxen. So he came from wealth, right, in that day. Right? He was a wealthy farmer. He came from wealth in that day. But deep inside, Keith, he knew there had to be more. Deep inside of him, he knew there had to be something more than just this life. He yearned for the power of God to operate in his life. Is there anybody in here who yearns for God's power to flow through your life? If you yearn for God's power to flow through your life, you must understand you've got to give up some things. Oh, yes. Jesus said, no man, Peter, has left mother and father and husband and wife and all these things and has not received tenfold in this life and the life to come. So if God moves on you to walk away from something and to give up something, focus on what you're walking towards and not on what you had to give up. Because what you had to give up, what is that? Can I say it? Yeah, I'm going to have to make sure it's a church song before I say it. Yesterday's gone. Yesterday's all behind you. You can't do anything about yesterday. Mistakes of your past, you made them. Own up to them. Learn from them and move on. But if you stay stuck on where you made that mistake, you'll never move forward. Here, Elisha wanted to be a man of God, but he did not want to be just any man of God. He wanted to walk in power like Elijah. In fact, he's going to tell him later on in the narrative, he's going to say, I want double what you have. This man, Elijah's going to say, if you really want double what I have, then you got to stay with me and be with me when my mantle falls. So he comes by, Elijah, the prophet, powerful man of God in his own right, comes by and sees Elisha plowing in the field, and he takes his coat, his mantle, and he throws it on him, Elisha, and he walks away. So you're the one with the mantle's coming on. But the young man said to him, hey, I know what you want. I know it's time to go. Just let me go back and say goodbye and kiss my mama and my daddy. Old King James says, he said, Elijah said, what have I done to you? The new version is saying that what he's saying is this. Do you not understand that God is about to give you what you asked for? And all you want to focus on is what you're leaving. Because what you're leaving was great to you, was good to you. God is not anti-family. That's not what he's saying. But your mother and your father were good to you. They loved you, but God's got something great. He's got something greater for you. And then the man of God, Elisha, the young man, Elisha, does something we don't want to do. And how many of you have a plan A and a plan B? How many of you have a plan B? Have a plan B? Plan B? And anybody have a plan C? Anybody have a D? EFG? So Sister Grace said, that's thinking too far ahead. Well, for Elijah and Elisha, a plan B was thinking too far ahead. Because what Elijah is saying, I've gotten permission now to get what I want. That's that position with God. Now, what do I need to do? To ensure, Keith, that I don't go back to plowing the field, that I don't go back to being a businessman, I'm going to burn the plow. Once I burn the plow, I'm committed to going forward. Somebody in here needs to burn the plow. Somebody in here, before you move forward, you need to burn the plow because you're thinking, I can fall back on this if that don't work out. Well, I look like Demetrius saying, well, I'll just go back and say what they told me when I was a young man. Older man told me, I was 18 years old, and he told me, he said, man, when you get married, keep your woman on the side. I said, what? Why get married if I have to have one? You got a spare tire, don't you? You just never know when the one you got gonna act crazy. Keep you one on the side. When she gets crazy, just kick her to the curb and go and bring the other one in. But keep you another one on the side too. Do you understand that? Do you understand the foolishness of that? That sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? But that's how you do God. You ask him for this huge thing, and you already set up a reason why you didn't get it just in case you don't, so you can explain why it didn't happen. How committed are you to God saying, by his stripes I'm healed? You know how committed Sister Smith is? Can you still walk around hurting, still saying, praising God for healing? Amen. Or do you say, I don't understand, he came in and he delivered Isabel and didn't deliver me. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Elijah burned the plow. He's never going to get the chance to go back. That means that he did something himself to ensure he couldn't go back. Well, he can always get another plow, Pastor. Well, guess what else he did? He cooked the cow. Now I got no cow to go back to. I got no plow and I've got no cow. I've got no choice but to move forward. I've got no choice but to focus on this family now. I've got no choice but to focus on my future now. I can't do anything about what happened. I can't do anything about the past. I can't change it. I can't make it not have happened. It is what it is. But I can do something about now. And my now, God said, focus on what's ahead of you. And leave what's behind you behind you. That's the message today. Be committed enough to get rid of your plan B, to get rid of your spare tire. I know none of y'all have a spare tire in here. And incidentally, I never got a spare tire. Just so you know, there's no spare tire to get rid of because I'm committed to this woman.